Welcome to the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Monday, March 18th. This is Gina Palma. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen precipitation mainly target the southern two-thirds of the Great Basin, and this is where we have seen well above normal precipitation in some areas. Further north, we've had much less precipitation affect northern areas, so we've seen below normal precipitation across Idaho into western Wyoming. Looking at new snowfall, we've had no new snowfall over the last 72 hours, but still a healthy snowpack in the higher elevations. Looking at our current snowpack, you can see all areas are above normal across the Great Basin, and the areas that are furthest above normal are over the southern two-thirds of the region from the Sierra, across Nevada, and into Utah. The satellite loop from this morning shows still generally benign weather across the Great Basin with only some higher clouds moving across parts of Nevada and Utah. We will have an area of low pressure well off the west coast that will approach the region towards Tuesday and Wednesday, bringing another round of increased winds in some areas and precipitation. So today, looking at our weather pattern for later this afternoon, you can see a ridge of high pressure still dominating the west, keeping our temperatures above normal with dry conditions. We will also see poor ventilation indices generally over the northern portion of the area where the winds are the lightest under that ridge of high pressure, and a little bit higher dispersion over southern areas. Again, transport winds under that ridge of high pressure will be very light today across the region, with higher mixing heights in the south and generally low to moderate mixing heights further north. As we move into Tuesday, we will see that area of low pressure off the west coast start to approach, and this will push mainly clouds across the western areas of the Great Basin, but also some potential for some precipitation on Tuesday later in the day, and still drier conditions off to the north and east. We will see better dispersion across Nevada as this system moves in, and still poor dispersion over the eastern half of the region. So on Tuesday, you can see how those winds out ahead of the area of low pressure start to pick up in parts of the Sierra and into western Nevada, and also the Snake River Plain across Idaho. Mixing heights will also be quite high across much of Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip, and a little bit lower as you move further north into Idaho and Wyoming for one more day. On Wednesday, that area of low pressure moves into California, and this will push clouds and precipitation across much of Nevada and into much of Utah and the Arizona Strip, with still drier conditions on the northern fringe of the basin. We will see dispersion improve in many areas on Wednesday. And you can see these gusty winds start to spread eastward across the higher terrain of the Great Basin on Wednesday, and also mixing heights in the higher terrain especially will be higher, with generally low mixing heights over parts of Idaho, Wyoming, and into northeast Nevada. Looking at the forecast clearing index for Utah, you can see we still have some pretty low clearing indices over the northern half of Utah, both today and tomorrow, with more moderate clearing indices over southern areas, but things will start to improve by Wednesday as those winds increase as that area of low pressure approaches. Looking at the 3-day forecast amount of precipitation, which takes us through Thursday morning, you can see this first round of precipitation mainly will affect Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip. And again, most areas will see light amounts of precipitation, a little bit heavier in the Sierra, and also over parts of southwest Utah into eastern Nevada. As we move into Thursday, we will have this main system now tracking eastward across the Great Basin, keeping clouds or showers in many areas of the region. We will also see temperatures decreasing as the week goes on, closer to normal by Thursday, Friday. Dispersion will remain fairly good over much of Nevada into southern Utah and the Arizona Strip, and much lower over northeastern areas of the Great Basin. As we move into Friday, this first system starts to exit the area, still keeping precipitation over eastern Utah, and we will have another area of low pressure approaching the northwest on Friday, so we will see clouds start to return to western areas along with some light showers. Dispersion will remain fairly good on Friday as these systems are moving through fairly quickly. However, still over Idaho and Wyoming, much poor dispersion. On Saturday, this second system starts to track eastward across the region, pushing precipitation on Friday and Saturday across many areas of the Great Basin, especially the northern two-thirds of the region. And again, good dispersion as this second system moves through. By Sunday, we'll see another ridge of high pressure briefly start to develop along the west, and again, this will bring drier conditions to the Great Basin with gradually warming temperatures. Dispersion will remain fairly good, especially over parts of Nevada and Utah, but as that ridge moves in and winds decrease, we will see dispersion decrease later in the day. The forecast amount of precipitation, which takes us from Thursday through early Saturday, and again, you can see much of the precipitation is generally light, targeting Nevada and Utah and the Arizona Strip, and also the Sierra, so a much lighter precipitation expected over northern areas of the basin. The 8 to 14-day outlook, which takes us to the end of March, shows a return of below normal temperatures and a return of that wet pattern moving across the region. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Wednesday for the latest updates.